In the last lecture, we completed method of preparation of alcohols, and in today's lecture, we are going to do physical properties of alcohols. So please write the topic. Physical properties of alcohol. First point that you will write. Alcohols have high boiling point. As they have hydrogen bonding. Because you have ROH and another OH will be somewhere here. So this oxygen and hydrogen will have a bond because oxygen is delta negative, hydrogen will be delta positive. In this oxygen, it is pulling electrons, so this will also be delta negative, and this hydrogen will be delta positive. So this type of bonding is there. Okay, this is known as hydrogen bond. Since hydrogen bond is present in alcohol, they have higher boiling point. Right, next. Boiling point of alcohols is greater than ethers, hydrocarbons, haloalkene, aldehydes, and ketones. Okay, so it is greater than all of these functional groups. And the reason is also same. Reason is because of hydrogen bond. The next point. Boiling point of alcohol increases with increase in carbon atoms. This is similar to what we did in haloalkene also. Increases with increase in carbon atom. Why? Due to increase in molar mass. Okay, you can write it also due to increase in molar mass. If you ask what happens when molar mass is increased, there is a lot of van der Waals force of attraction, which depends on the this depends on the instantaneous dipole. So instantaneous dipole can occur if you have large mass. Large mass means more proton, more electron, so that separation of charge can be easier. Now that is why we can write CH3OH least, followed by ethyl alcohol, followed by propyl alcohol.
So what is BPT means?
Boiling point. Got it?
Okay, sir.
Next you write boiling point of alcohols decreases with increase in branching. Due to decrease in surface area. Decrease in surface area. So if you have something like this, so 1, 2, 3, 4, OH. And if you increase the branching like this, 4 carbon and OH is now here. You can increase the branching even more. OH is now here, and increase the branching even more. OH is here. So as you see, as we increase the branching, the shape of the molecule is becoming more and more circular. Can you see that? Yes or no? Or in reality, it will be spherical, and but here you can see it as circular. Yes or no? It will be spherical in shape, right? Yes or no? As we increase the branching, correct? Anji, Faiza, Rabah, Shahid, Fahad, can you see that?
Yes, sir.
This is quite circular. So if it becomes circular, then what is going to happen? Then surface area is small and the separation of charge will not have a larger dipole, larger instantaneous dipole. This will be delta negative. The last delta positive will be here. So this is quite a large dipole moment. Now here, this is the longest dipole it can have. Here, the longest dipole is going to be this one. Here, the longest dipole will be only this one. Okay. That is why as the branching increases, then we can say that the dipole gets smaller and smaller, and that is the reason the boiling point also decreases. So this will have highest, then this one, then this. Got this? Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
Read a question.
Sir, can you scroll up?
Yeah, sure. How much? This much?
Yes, sir.
Poor question. Let me summarize this thing. Let me know once you're done. देख लिया सबने?
Done, sir.
Done. Okay. So first of all, you will see whenever you have been given, see, first of all, you have to understand the force of attraction. Okay, how force of attraction differs when you have different functional group. So if you see hydrogen bond, so force of attraction can be divided into the following. Hydrogen bond, this will be having the most strongest force of attraction, followed by polar. So if it is polar molecule, if there is hydrogen bond in the molecule, that will be strongest. Polar molecule is less than the force of attraction in polar molecule is less than hydrogen bond, and the least is with non-polar. Least is with non-polar. All of you got this? Yes or no? Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, after you have seen a functional group, then what you need to see? You need to see number one is carbon atoms. If all the functional groups are same, then you will see first of all what? Carbon atoms. Number of now, if the number of carbon atoms are also same, then you will check whether the molar mass is greater or smaller. Okay, it is also going to depend on that. If you have larger molar mass, when it's a carbon atom, say for example, let us suppose you have fluorine and bromine. So fluorine is small, bromine is larger. Okay, so you have to see also that number of carbon atoms. Then you will see next boiling point depends on molar mass. But this is order. Okay, पहले सबसे पहले molar mass नहीं देखना. You don't have to look at molar mass first of all. Molar mass. Third is when the molar mass is also same and everything is same, then you will see boiling point of is inversely proportional to branching. All of you got this? Is one of me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let us suppose we have a question like this. Arrange the following, you know, arrange in increasing order of boiling point. You have pentane 1 ol. You have N-butane. Then you have pentanal. And then you have ethoxyethene. How to go from structure to name? Identify the parent carbon chains. Parent here is pent. So make pent 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It is saying 1 ol. So the terminal carbon will get OH. So 1 carbon, terminal 1 will get OH. Then you have N-butane. N-butane means only 4 carbon atoms. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you have pentane al. So this is pentane. That means there is 5 carbon atoms. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Al means there is an aldehyde and it is on the first carbon atom, right? Pentanal, CHO. Then you have ethoxyethane. So ethoxy is the substituent. Eth is the parent carbon chain. So 1 or 2 carbon atoms, and the substituent is what? Ethoxy. So this will be attached with oxygen atom, and then this will have 2 more carbon atoms. So these are the structures. All of you got this? Yes or no? Please tell me. Yes or no? Got this? Structures, right? Now, please see. This is going to have hydrogen bond. This is non-polar. This is polar. And this is also approximately non-polar, because if you see the dipole moment, this is going to be like this. And from here, this is because it is pulling electrons. This is also pulling electrons, oxygen, from both the sides. And here. Now you can see both the dipoles are cancelling each other out. Now there can be slight dipole moment here or there because of the lone pair electrons which are present in oxygen atom here. There can be slight thing, but it is approximately non-polar, or I can say what it is, very slightly polar, and weakly polar. We can see some cancellation, right? That is why we can say it is weakly polar. And since here we have different functional group itself, we don't have to look at the carbon atoms. We will see the carbon atoms when we need to see it. Okay, otherwise we are not going to see that. Fine. Now, when we say hydrogen bond will have largest, so I will talk this as A, this is B, this is C, and this is D. So obviously A will have the largest boiling point, no matter the number of carbon atoms. After that, the polar one. What is polar one? The aldehyde, that is C. And after that, weakly polar, that is D. And after that, B. Now between B and D, what you can do, even if you tell, let us suppose that आपको ये लगा non-polar, है ना? मान लेते हैं इसको non-polar. It's non-polar. So you will say, sir, B and D both are non-polar. Then I will say, yeah. Now compare the molar masses. This has how many carbon? 4 carbon atoms. This also has 4 carbon atoms. But in addition to 4 carbon, there is one oxygen also. So I can say that D is for sure having larger. D is for sure having larger boiling point than B because the molar mass is greater. All of you understood this? Yes or no, please tell me.
Yes.
The structure to name is very important. If you don't know structure to name, it's going to be very difficult, even if you know everything about boiling point. So pentane 1 ol, butane 1 ol. Then you have butane 2 ol. Then you have ethanol. Then you have propane 1 ol. Then you have methanol. And I'm just writing this as A, B, C, D. आप कर लीजिएगा A, B, C, D, E, and F. Make structure, otherwise you will not understand. Make structure. Because branching कैसे पता चलेगी? So here we have pent. So pent is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 carbon atoms and OH. Then you have butane 1-ol. So 1, 2, 3, 4 carbon atoms and then OH. Butane 2-ol, 1, 2, 3, 4 carbon atoms and OH in the second carbon. Ethanol, it's only 2 carbon atoms and OH. Propane 1-ol, 3 carbon atoms and 1 OH. Methanol, that is CS3OH. Now, first of all, I will count the number of carbon atoms because all of them are having OH, 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 right? So I will, the functional group is same. That means I cannot comment anything on the basis of this part. All of them are what? Hydrogen bonding. So I will see boiling point directly proportional to the number of carbon atoms, directly proportional to the number of carbon atoms. Here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbon, 5. Here we have 4 carbon. Here also we have 4 carbon. Here we have 2 carbon atoms. Here we have 3 carbon atoms, and here we have 1 carbon atom. Okay. Now, when I see 5 carbon, so A is going to have the maximum. Then if I see B and C, so B and C both are having same carbon atoms, but here we will say no branching, and here we have branching, right? So obviously, when there is no branching, that is going to have higher boiling, right? So we will have B, and after we will write C. Now, next is 2 carbon or 3 carbon. 3 carbon is there, right? So it will be E. Next, after any more 3 carbon, no. So 2 carbon is D, and then 1 carbon is F. All of you got this? Yes or no? Please tell me. So A is because 5 carbon. Okay. Between these two, you will look at branching. And between these three, you just need to look at the number of carbons. Any doubt, guys? Yes or no? Please tell me. Any doubt?
No, sir.
Write it quickly. Yeah, fine, Faisal, no problem. Okay. So I think everyone has written this down. Okay. यहाँ पे ना एक टॉपिक अगर जगह हो तो लिख लीजिएगा प्लीज. We are talking about boiling point now. So first topic is boiling point in physical properties. Forgot to write this boiling point. Okay. Next, you are going to write second topic here is solubility. Now please write alcohols and phenols both are soluble in water. Both are soluble in water due to their tendency to form. Due to their tendency to form hydrogen bonds. Hydrogen bonds with water. Okay. So if you look at the hydrogen bond with water and alcohol, it's going to be very similar because we have R, OH like this, and the structure of water is H2O, which is something like this. So obviously both these oxygen atoms are pulling electrons. So both of them will get delta negative. This is also pulling electrons, so it will get delta negative. Hydrogen will get delta positive, and here also it will get delta positive. And there will be force of attraction between the oxygen hydrogen here, the oxygen hydrogen here. Now, when there is exist a force of attraction between the solute and the solvent, then only there will be what? Then only there will be solubility. Then the solute will be soluble in the solvent. Now, the important part to look at alcohol is, in alcohol, I can say there are two fragments. I have the R, the alkyl group, and then I have the OH group. Now, in this two fragments, This OH is what? It is responsible and favorable, responsible for solubility. If OH was not there, it would not have been soluble. All of you understood this? Yes or no? Please tell me. It's responsible for solubility and favorable also. Correct? Because without OH, if you don't have OH, then the alcohol will not be soluble. Yes or no? Please tell me. If only we had R group, it will not be soluble. Rabah, Shahid, and Fahad, correct? What do you guys think? Tell me. Rabah, Shahid, Fahad. It's only soluble because of OH, because OH is interacting with water. The other alkyl group, it is not interacting with water. Yes or no? Shahid, Rabah, Fahad.
Yes, sir.
Yes, na? Okay. Now, that means this R group, it is what? It is unfavorable. That means not favorable for solubility. Got this? Yes or no? Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now imagine. Okay, please imagine. Don't write anything. Please imagine. CH3OH. CH3 and OH. Almost CH3OH almost equal, na? Favorable and not favorable, or not favorable and favorable, both are what? Equal in quantity, so it is soluble. Now, if I have CH3, CH2OH, now we have the unfavorable part more and favorable part is small. Okay, if I add one more carbon atom, 3 carbon atoms and then OH. So the unfavorable part is even larger, the favorable part is smaller. If I add more carbon, so what is going to happen? When we start adding more and more carbons, the solubility of alcohol is going to decrease because the unfavorable part, that is the alkyl group, which is non-polar in nature, that is increasing. All of you got this? Yes or no? Please tell me. Rehana kuch to bole. Got this? Yes or no? If I increase the number of carbon atoms, the unfavorable part increases. That is right. And to decrease the solubility. Please write next. The solubility of alcohols decreases with increase in number of carbon atoms. Is in number of carbon atoms as larger alkyl groups prevent the formation of hydrogen bond with water. Okay, so for solubility, what we can write? Okay, as we increase the number of carbon atoms, the solubility decreases. Right, next. In isomeric alcohols, the boiling point increases on increase in branching. Increases on increase in branching. Why? Because the surface area decreases. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 OH, and then we have 1, 2, 3 OH, and then we have, let us suppose like this, OH, and OH. So since here we have the alkyl groups are not going to hinder more, here we have long chain alkyl group now, which is going to hinder more. This is going to have larger boiling point than these things. Last point you will write insolubility. Phenols are less soluble than alcohols due to bulky benzene ring. Done, everyone? All if you wrote this down, yes or no, please tell me. Yeah, sure.
Done, sir.
Pfizer, take a screenshot. No, right, physical state. Third. Now there are chances. See, once you have MCQs, no, you cannot rule out possibility of any questions. And if you have MCQs of like 18 marks, and then you have case-based question, that also you will get MCQs. So you cannot delete the possibility of any questions. And that is a physical state. I used to not teach this, but physical state of alcohols are also important because they can directly, because that is present in NCERT and they can give you questions. But previously, if you had 2 marks and 3 marks and all of these types of questions, उसमें ये सारी चीजें नहीं आती. ठीक है? So please see in physical state. Physical state. First point. Lower members of alcohol. Lower members means 1 carbon, 2 carbon members. Not 1 carbon, like 1, 2. You can say approximately 10 or 8 type of thing. Lower members. आपको बस लेकिन यही याद करना. Lower member of alcohols are colorless liquid. Colorless liquid with characteristic smell. Right, next point. Alcohols with more than 12 carbon atoms are colorless solid. Alcohols with more than 12 carbon atoms are colorless solid. Next point. Phenols are crystalline solid. Phenols are crystalline solid or liquid. And have phenolic smell. Okay, so you will say, sir, so solid hota hai liquid hota hai? It depends on how you are preparing it. Okay, so if you prepare phenol from, we used to prepare phenol with benzene diazonium salt in the lab. So that came out to be solid and it was crystalline solid, and it was in a kind of a polymer form. Okay, so it depends on the preparation method. It can be crystalline solid or it can be liquid. So these are the points for physical state or physical state of alcohol and phenols. Complete this and then we will move to chemical properties. Anyone still writing? Please let me know. Who's writing? Please write chemical properties of alcohol. Chemical properties of alcohol. If you look at our CH2O and H, the alcohol. So there are two types of reaction that alcohol can show, and it can break two types of bonds. It can either break this OH bond, or it can break this carbon and O bond. And it will show two different types of reactions. Okay, so we'll see breaking of CO bond. Sorry. And we will also see breaking of OH bond. Okay. First of all, we will see the reaction involving cleavage of OH bond and then reactions involving cleavage of CO bond. Please write with me the topics name. A part, reaction involving cleavage of OH bond. And reaction involving cleavage of OH bond, write the first topic, reactions with active metal. Reactions with active metal. So when you treat alcohols with metal, so you have ROH plus a metal. The metal is going to form metal alkoxide, and it will liberate hydrogen gas. It will liberate what? It will liberate hydrogen gas. For example, if you have CH3OH plus sodium, then it is going to give you sodium. Now, OCH3 is going to be attached here, OCH3. This sodium methoxide, and plus you will have H2 gas. Now, the number of methoxide or, the number of alkoxide is present, that depends on the valency of the metal atom. So if I have similar methanol, CH3OH, but this CH3OH is reacting with magnesium now, then I will have Mg, and OCH3 will be same, but we will need 2 OCH3 in order to balance the valency of Mg2. and the hydrogen gas will be as it is. Similar is the case if you have CS3OH plus aluminium, then in that case you will have aluminium, and the valency of aluminium is 3, so OCS3 price plus H2 is our constant. All of you got this? Is going to be semi. All of you got this? So what is the meaning of active metal? We have seen this, those who have done electrochemistry with me, we have seen active metals, okay? अगर किसी को याद, I don't know, I mean, बहुत दिन हो गया इसको. Series of the electrode, electrochemical series जब पढ़ाया था ना, तब आप लोगों को पढ़ाया होगा हमने. electrochemistry. कुछ मेटल बता रहा है, एक्टिव चाहिए हमें. Nature of electrode, और उससे पहले नहीं बताया क्या एक्टिव मेटल? रुक जाइए, नहीं बताया तो दिक्कत की बात हो जाएगी. इलेक्ट्रोकेमिस्ट्री में इलेक्ट्रोकेमिकल सीरीज कराया था, नहीं कराया था? रेफरेंस इलेक्ट्रोड, सेल पोटेंशियल, हाँ होगा. तो केमिकल सीरीज ये हो गया डिस्प्लेसमेंट रिएक्शन इन द सॉल्यूशन, डिस्प्लेसिंग पावर ऑफ एप्लीकेशन, ऑक्सीडाइजिंग पावर, मेटल्स विद ठीक है. Used to predict the feasibility of reaction, predicts whether a metal can liberate hydrogen. ठीक है, हाँ तो यहाँ पे होगा. ठीक है, so predicts whether a metal can liberate hydrogen gas from an acid. So if you have SRP of metal, अच्छा ये नहीं बताया आपको, active metal को बोलते हैं. ठीक है, so SRP of metal is higher than oxygen, then the metal will be reduced and H2 gas will not be liberated. So this chapa element, they will not liberate. They are not going to liberate hydrogen gas when treated with acid. So SRP of the wedding element will be reduced and they are like it, and that means wedding elements liberate करेंगे, but not the chapa elements. SRP of metal is less than 0, then the H+ will be reduced and H2 gas will be liberated. Okay, so those metal which can liberate hydrogen from acid, they are known as active metals. So please write here, alcohols are weak acids. Alcohols are weak acids and hence they react with active metals such as sodium, magnesium, aluminium, etc. to liberate hydrogen gas and form metal oxide, metal alkoxide. Now, since they are reacting with metal and they are liberating hydrogen gas, then what we can say that they can behave as acid. They can act as or behave as acids. Okay. So we have to look at the acidic strength of alcohol. So please write the topic, acidic strength of alcohol. acidic strength of alcohol. Now, if you look at alcohol, alcohol has a structure R, then you have CH2, and then you have OH. Now, when it is going to behave as an acid, it is going to give you R, CH2, O negative, R, CH2, O negative. What does this mean? It means that this is, and plus you will get H plus ion for sure. If you remember a bit of equilibrium, then this is an acid, and this will be what? Conjugate base. Okay. How many of you remember this? Tell me yes or no. Raise your hand maybe if you don't want to say yes or no. Raise your hand, do thumbs up if you remember. Acid and conjugate base. Faiza, do you remember?
Sir, I remember the terms, but I have to
Yeah,
revise
that's
it.
right. That's yeah, no problem. You just remember the terms now. These terms are not new, right? Rabba, tell me. Acid and conjugate base. Rabba, are you there? Shahid, tell me.
So,
Yes,
Shahid. Sorry.
yes, I remember.
Okay. Fahad, what about you? Remember, right? Acid conjugate base. First, say yes or no. Rabba, आपको याद नहीं है, right?
yes, sir.
ठीक है, no problem. So when you remove hydrogen from acid, whatever remains is conjugate base. What you need to do to get conjugate base? Tell me. Remove hydrogen from acid.
Hydrogen from acid.
Hydrogen. Okay. So understood now? This is conjugate base, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now tell me. There are a few cases. Okay. If we have a strong acid, then a strong acid can easily give. Please, I want yes and no very quickly now. Please keep your mic on. Faiza, Rabba, Shahid, try to keep your mic on. Turn your mic on now. I will not wait for the answers there. Once I start asking. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Thank you very much. I'm asking. If there's a strong base, it will release H plus easily. Correct? Strong acid will release hydrogen ion H plus easily. Correct? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
What about others? Faiza, Shahid did not understand the question.
Yes, sir.
Did not understand the question.
No, sir, I got it.
Got it? So a strong acid will release H plus. Will release H plus easily. Okay. That means it will make conjugate base easily. If it has to release H plus, it will obviously make conjugate base, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, if the conjugate base is stable, then it can easily stay as conjugate base, right? Because it has a charge. Now, what we have a negative charge, and whenever there is a charge, there is instability. That means conjugate base has to somehow stabilize that particular negative charge. Correct, guys? Yes or no? Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
So I can say acidic strength is directly proportional to stability of conjugate base. If the conjugate base is stable, conjugate base will form very easily. So H plus will be liberated very easily. Got this, guys? Yes or no? Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, one more thing. Please listen. One more thing. Here we have A and B atom without any partial positive, partial negative charge. Okay, these are 0, 0 charges. Both of them have how much charge? No electronegativity difference, 0, 0 charge. Okay. And I want to break these into A positive and B negative. This is one scenario. Another scenario is we have AB. Now here A has delta positive charge and B has some delta negative charge. Okay. And I want to break A plus and B negative. Now tell me, in the first case it will be easier, or in the second case it will be easier? You can say anything. Rabba, Faiza, Shahid, Fahad, tell me. What case it will be easier? If I have a completely non-polar bond, which case, Rabba? First or second?
Second.
Second. Faiza, what about you? What do you think? Faiza, first or second? Where it will be easy to break to positive and negative? Faiza is not answering. Shahid, where it will be easy? Where it will be easier? Tell me. Second case, right? Because we already have some positive and negative charges, so it will be easier to give them more positive and more negative. That means as the polarity increases, I'm talking about here. Okay, now I'm talking about OH. If we have a more polar OH bond, then breaking this bond will be easier and liberating H plus will be easier. Correct, guys? Yes or no? Understood, everyone? How it relates to acidic strength. Polarity of OH bond should be large. OH polar, and then breaking them will be easier because they are already having partial charges. उनको बस थोड़ा सा charge देंगे, they will separate out between O negative and H positive. So I can say it is also directly proportional to polarity of OH bond. All of you understood this? Yes or no, please tell me. Faiza, Shahid, Fahad, understood till here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Now, first of all, we'll compare. The number one comparison is going to be alcohol versus water. Alcohol versus water. Okay. Now, for both of them, all of you wrote this now, acidic strength. Let me know if you have not written. Now, for both the cases, we'll show the acid and their conjugate bases. So when we have alcohol, we'll have R H. H is going to give you RO negative plus H positive. For water, we will have HOH. This will give me HO negative plus H positive. Okay. Now, if I look at the conjugate base of RO negative, then this R, tell me, this is plus I or minus I group? This is electron donating group or releasing electron donating or withdrawing group, guys? Alkyl group is electron donating or withdrawing? Plus I or minus I? Oh my God. Plus I or minus I? Alkyl groups are electron donating or they're electron releasing?
Donating.
They're electron donating groups, right? So they will give more and more electron towards O negative. And when they are going to give more electrons, what is going to happen to the charge? The charge will increase or decrease. Rabah, Faiza, please answer now. If you are giving electrons towards O negative, the negative charge will increase or decrease.
Decrease.
You're giving electrons to O negative. The negative charge will increase or decrease. Tell me. You're giving electrons to oxygen negative, O negative. What will happen? Rabah?
Decrease.
Decrease. Why decrease? What
Sir.
is the charge on electron? What is the charge on electron?
Negative.
And what is the charge on oxygen?
Negative.
So if you're giving negative to negative, it will become more
Positive.
negative. Or we are not
Yes.
multiplying.
It
We are
will
not
become more
multiplying
negative.
more negative. Positive. We are not multiplying here, right? Okay. So what is going to happen? So this is plus I group. Plus I group will increase the negative charge, right? Now, if the negative charge is more, so I can say that RO negative is less stable. And obviously, the hydrogen does not have much capacity to give electrons to the oxygen atom. So first point is what? RO negative is unstable. Due to plus I group to plus I group. Plus I group. Okay. That's it. Next thing, please listen very carefully. Okay. All of you, please listen very carefully. Don't write anything down. This next point is very crucial to understand. Now, which has greater capacity to give electrons? The alkyl group or hydrogen? Tell me guys, R or H? Which has greater capacity to give electrons? Tell me, which has greater capacity to give electrons? Alkyl group, okay. Alkyl group is plus I group, right? Hydrogen is neutral. Hydrogen कुछ नहीं करता. All of you understood this? Please tell me. Prabha, Shahid, Fahad. Hydrogen does not do anything, okay. So which has greater capacity to give electrons? Tell me. R or H? Alkyl. Say it. Then you will. Alkyl group. Which has more tendency? Which has more tendency? Alkyl group, okay. Now, और यहाँ पे भूखा कौन है? Who is hungry? In both the cases, oxygen is hungry. Correct? Yes or no? Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, if the giving capacity of alkyl is more, so whatever hunger oxygen is having, whatever tendency to pull electron oxygen is having, it will pull from alkyl because it is easier to take from alkyl rather than hydrogen. So what it will do, it will be getting so much electron from the alkyl group that it will not ask much electron from the hydrogen atom. And that is why this bond is going to be less polar. In the case of water, both of these are what? Hydrogen atoms, and that is why oxygen is pulling from the hydrogen. It does not have any other option. It has to take electrons from what? It has to take electrons from hydrogen only. And that is why hydrogen, oxygen, it pulls more electrons in the water case. Why? Because it has nothing other than hydrogen. But in the case of alcohol, it has R group, which is a plus I group. And because of plus I group, it decreases the polarity of OH bond. The oxygen is satisfied only with the alkyl group of alcohol. It does not pull much more electrons from the hydrogen atom as it is doing in the water's case. All of you understood this? Yes or no? Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I can say ROH is less polar due to plus I group. ब्रैकेट में R लिख देते हैं, आप लोग को फिर अंदाजा हो जाएगा ना. Plus I group R. And because of both these cases, I can say that alcohol is less acidic than water. Okay, alcohol is less acidic than water. All of you understood this? Yes or no? Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
Right, next. One degree versus 2 degree versus 3 degree alcohol. Okay, so obviously the order is going to be what? The order is going to be, see, in 1 degree alcohol, there will be less alkyl groups, right? So 1 degree will be, जैसे जैसे आप देख रहे हैं ना, यहीं पे आप लोगों ने देख लिया होगा. I can write acidic strength. It is inversely proportional to plus I groups. Right? Because when we had plus I group, what was happening? The alkoxide ion was unstable. Right? It was unstable because of plus I. And where do we have most number of plus I group? It is 3 degree. And then 2 degree and then 1 degree. 3 degree has the most number of plus I groups because more number of carbon atoms are alkyl groups are attached. So acidic strength in this case is going to be 1 degree will be largest, and then 2 degree and then 3 degree. Got this? Is please tell me.
Yes, sir.
This is due to more plus I groups. This is due to more plus I groups in 3 degree alcohol. Done, everyone? Wrote this down? Yes or no? Please tell me.
Yes.
Okay. Third case, please write. Alcohol versus phenol. Alcohol versus phenol. ठीक है. Now, first of all, we'll look at the polarity. First of all, we'll look at the polarity PC. दोनों ही चीज देख लेते हैं. एक काम करते हैं इसको. तो डिलीट करो. सीधे पहले देख लीजिए आराम से, उसके बाद फिर हम इसको दिखा देंगे. So if this is going to give you, it's going to act as acid, you are going to get R, CH2, O negative. And if this is going to act as acid, you will get copy paste कर लेते हैं. So hydrogen atom will be removed and you will get O negative. Okay, first of all, let us talk about the polarity here. First of all, let us talk about the polarity. Don't write anything. This carbon atom here, this is sp3. Okay, this carbon atom here, this is sp2. Which has more electronegativity, sp3 or sp2? कौन ज़्यादा electronegative होता है? Faiza, Rabah, Shahid, Fahad, tell me. Which is more electronegative? sp3 या sp2? भूल गए. Oh my God, भूल गए. Halogen halogen में पढ़ाया था. sp3 और sp2, which is more electronegative? रीडिंग कीजिए आप लोग, पुराने चैप्टर्स भूलना नहीं है. ऐसे भूलना नहीं है पुराने चैप्टर्स को. ठीक है. Safe halogen is sp2, which is more electronegative than sp3. ना सब कुछ समझाया था आप लोगों को हमने. हाँ जी, ठीक है. Which is more electronegative, sp3 या sp2? बताएं.
sp2.
इलेक्ट्रॉन sp2 more electronegative. sp2 क्या करेगा? इलेक्ट्रॉन्स को खींचेगा. yes or no, please tell me. It will attract the electrons, correct? Okay. And sp3, it is what? It is plus I group. But sp2 को आप देखेंगे तो that is minus I group. Okay. So now here what is going to happen? This sp3, it is giving electrons to oxygen atom, but this sp2, it wants to take electron. Oxygen say, I also want to take electron. So there is some push and pull between them. Okay. That is why oxygen say, अच्छा ठीक है भाई. Okay, fine. Don't give me electrons. I will take electrons from hydrogen. So here what's going to happen? In the alcohol case, who is giving electrons? Oxygen is taking from the RCH2, the alkyl group. But in phenol, oxygen is taking the electrons from the hydrogen atom. That is why here you will be getting more polar bond. Right? Tell me yes or no, please tell me. You will say phenols are more polar. Rather, I will say phenols have more polar. समझ में आया नहीं आया सबको? Have more polar. नहीं आया. फायजा, रबा, शायद हाँ ना तो बोल दे भाई. चुपचाप बैठने से क्या मतलब बनता है आप लोगों का? फिर नहीं बोल रहे हैं. अरे समझ में आया नहीं आया?
Yes,
शायद
sir.
आवाज ही आया ना. नहीं आया तो वो भी बता दें. हाँ या ना बोले ना, चुपचाप तो ना बैठे रहे बिल्कुल ऐसे मूर्ख की तरह. ठीक है. फेनॉल्स हैव मोर पोलर OH बॉन्ड देन अल्कोहल बिकॉज COH bond in phenol is sp2 hybridized. ठीक है. अगला रीजन सुनिए. अगला रीजन ये तो आपका अनस्टेबल था, हम लोगों ने देख लिया. बिकॉज इट इज व्हाट? प्लस आई ग्रुप. अनस्टेबल ड्यू टू प्लस आई ग्रुप. व्हाट अबाउट दिस वन? ये स्टेबल बिकॉज ऑफ रेजोनेंस. स्टेबल ड्यू टू रेजोनेंस. Next we will write peroxide ion is more stable due to resonance. अब ये वाला जो पॉइंट ना, this point is more important. Okay, this point is more important. अगर आपको याद, बस they will ask alcohols are less acidic than phenol. They will ask phenols are more acidic than alcohol. Phenols are more acidic than alcohol. Why? You will say because phenol shows resonance. है ना? या फिर वही because phenoxide ion is more stable due to resonance. आंसर है due to resonance. Resonance लिख दीजिए, ठीक है? बात बता रहे हैं आपको, क्या मतलब ऐसे ट्रिक बता रहे हैं, भूल गए आप, एग्जैक्ट रीजन नहीं आ रहा है ना, तो रेजोनेंस, फेनॉल आया रेजोनेंस, ठीक है, कुछ भी फेनॉल का कुछ भी आए, भूल गया, कुछ नहीं याद आ रहा, रेजोनेंस, ठीक है, व्हाट यू शुड राइट, रेजोनेंस. ऑल ऑफ यू डन, यस और नो प्लीज टेल मी.
Yes, sir.
ठीक है, एक सवाल आया था, पता नहीं कब आया था, लेकिन सवाल आया था, सुनिए जरा. A and B both contains OH group. A turns blue litmus red, but A turns blue litmus red, but B doesn't. Identify A and B. इसमें सिंपल आंसर ये हो जाएगा, सॉरी सिंपल आंसर क्या हो जाएगा, सिंपल आंसर विल बी A turns blue litmus red, है ना, but B doesn't. तो यहाँ पे आप लिखिएगा A is phenol, B is alcohol. ठीक है, because phenol is more acidic than alcohol. It's more acidic than alcohol. All of you got this? Yes, please tell me.
Yes, sir.
सबको समझ में आ गया? ठीक है. अगला आप लिखिए acidic strength of substituted phenols. सबसे पहले यहाँ पे 2 पॉइंट आप लोग को लिखना जरूरी है अबाउट इलेक्ट्रॉन डोनेटिंग ग्रुप, है ना. जनरली दीज आर प्लस एम, इनको हम क्या बोलते हैं, प्लस एम ग्रुप बोलते हैं. क्या है ये इलेक्ट्रॉन डोनेटिंग ग्रुप? फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल दे डिक्रीज एसिडिक स्ट्रेंथ बिकॉज दे आर गोइंग टू इंक्रीज द इलेक्ट्रॉन डेंसिटी, एंड O नेगेटिव पे क्या हो जाएगा, O नेगेटिव पे देयर विल बी लार्ज चार्ज, राइट. सो इलेक्ट्रॉन डोनेटिंग ग्रुप प्लस एम ग्रुप, दे डिक्रीज द एसिडिक स्ट्रेंथ. For example, these are CS3, OCS3 or OR, anything like that. And then if you have any other OH group, okay, all of these things are what? These are plus M. Plus M group, electron donating group. Then you have electron withdrawing group. So what we need to do, we need to stabilize the phenoxide ion, which is negatively charged. And minus M group will be best because minus M group, they take the electron away from the oxygen atom. They are electron withdrawing groups. So they will take the negative charge and they will increase the acidic strength, making the phenoxide ion more stable. आपको इसमें बस एक याद रखना है NO2. ठीक है, क्या याद रखना आपने, आप लोग याद रखना है NO2, है ना, उसको क्या बोलते हैं, माइनस एम. बस दूसरी चीज जो ध्यान रखनी है, प्लस एम और माइनस एम की बात तो यहाँ पे है बात जरूर, लेकिन दूसरी चीज जो याद रखनी है आप लोग को, आपके पास OH है यहाँ पे, देयर आर 3 पोजिशंस, ऑर्थो, मेटा, पैरा. ऑर्थो, मेटा एंड पैरा. ध्यान सुनिएगा. For para, if there is any group attached on para, you will check प्लस एम और माइनस एम, ठीक है। प्लस एम हुआ तो एसिडिक स्ट्रेंथ कम, माइनस एम हुआ तो एसिडिक स्ट्रेंथ ज्यादा। इफ एनीथिंग इज इन मेटा, यू नीड टू चेक प्लस आई और माइनस आई। अच्छा एक बात हम बता देते हैं, पैरा में अगर कोई चीज हो ना, प्लस एम एंड माइनस एम फर्स्ट एंड देन प्लस आई और माइनस आई बाद में देखेंगे, है ना। पहले देखेंगे प्लस एम माइनस में आंसर आ गया, ठीक है, नहीं आया तो फिर प्लस आई माइनस आई देख के लगाएं। अगर सिचुएशन सेम आ गई है ना, आई एम टेलिंग यू दीस थिंग्स, ऑल ऑफ दीस थिंग्स, ताकि आपको कोई चिंता ना बचे। चेक प्लस आई और माइनस आई ओनली, यहाँ पे सिर्फ और क्या चेक करना है, प्लस आई और माइनस आई, बिकॉज यहाँ पे मेसोमेरिक इफेक्ट और रेजोनेंस काम ही नहीं करता, ओनली। एंड इन दी ऑर्थो पोजिशन व्हाट यू नीड टू डू, ऑर्थो में भी वही सेम काम करना है जो आपने पैरा में करना है। चेक प्लस एम और माइनस एम फर्स्ट, देन चेक plus I or minus I. Please write this down. Let me know once you're done. All of you understood this? Yes or no? Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
जी बता। ठीक। Done everyone? Yes or no? Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
Explain why orthonitrophenol is more acidic than orthomethoxyphenol. दो आंसर बताएंगे आपको हम, एक शरीफों वाला जवाब और एक बदमाश कुच्चों वाला जवाब, है ना। दोनों आंसर बताते हैं हम। What happened, guys? Wrote the structure. Faiza and Rabah. Faiza, Rabah, Shahid wrote the structure. Yes or no? Tell me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Go, send it to me. You drew the structure orthonitrophenol and orthomethoxyphenol. Send it to me fast, quickly. Time नहीं है ज़्यादा. Oh my God, Faiza. क्या कर रही हैं आप? हाँ, वही तो नॉर्मल टीचर वाला आपने एक्स्ट्रा क्लासेस अटेंड किया था. फेनॉल तो बनाएंगे पहले, उसके बाद ऑर्थो एंड पैरा होगा ना। अरे फेनॉल तो पहले बनाइए। ये हैं, अरे भाई तुम लोग मार दो हमको, है ना। रिंग तो बनाओ यार, रबा रिंग तो बनाइए आप। रिंग नहीं बनाइएगा बेंजीन में। और ये मतलब हमें तो हैरानी हो रही है कि आप लोग क्या लिखते हैं। हम अगर फिनॉल लिखते हैं तो हम ऐसे लिखते हैं क्या। तो ठीक है फिनॉल बनाया आपने, हम ऐसे लिखते हैं OH। हाँ रबा, डू आई राइट इट लाइक दिस। अरे हाँ ना, कुछ तो बोलिए। हम ऐसे लिखते हैं OH।
Write on the.
फिर कहाँ लिखते हैं, यहाँ पे ऐसे रहता है ना OH।
Yes, sir.
फिर आपने ऐसे क्यों लिखा है इधर साइड में।
Sir, flow
हर
में
चीज के
होगी.
फ्लो में, फ्लो में सही होगा या फ्लो में गलत होगा आपसे चीजें। हाँ, फ्लो स्टेट तो सही चीज के लिए होता है ना, अच्छी बात है फ्लो में रहे हैं आप। फ्लो में गलत ना करें तो गलती वाले फ्लो में चल रहे हैं। फाइज आप सही है, ठीक है। सो हियर वी हैव NO2 and here we have OCH3. So tell me NO2 is plus M or minus M?
minus M.
And OCH3 is
Plus M.
plus M. So what I will write? I will write. ऐसे हम तो बहुत सस्ते में लिखते हैं बस, stabilizes phenoxide ion as NO2 is electron withdrawing group and destabilizes peroxide ion as OCH3 is electron donating group. Understood this? Yes or no? Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
ठीक है, तो शरीफों वाला थोड़ा जवाब हो गया, बदमाश बच्चों वाला जवाब हम आपको बताते हैं। क्या यहाँ पे आंसर खुद ब खुद दिया हुआ है। See now, why is orthonitrophenol more acidic? So they are already saying nitrophenol is more acidic. If you just know what is nitrophenol, it is electron withdrawing या electron donating, तो आप आंसर सिर्फ और सिर्फ क्या लिख सकते हैं, because orthonitrophenol has nitro group which is, बस इतना ही लिख सकते हैं आप। स्टेबलाइजर लिखने की भी जरूरत नहीं, क्यों होता है अगर आपको याद नहीं तो क्या लिख सकते हैं, because NO2 is electron withdrawing group. That's it. All of you understood this? Yes or no? Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
Shahid, wrote this down. आप लोगों ने स्ट्रक्चर अभी तक अगर महारत नहीं हासिल की, सच में बहुत अफसोस की बात है। फायजा रबा, ओके। Okay, now please see that you should be able to write the structures. Okay, it's going to be very difficult for you guys because कहीं पे भी ना आपको structure देख के नहीं आएगा कौन ज्यादा acidic कौन ज्यादा basic है. Okay, चलिए आई एम गिविंग यू सम स्ट्रक्चर्स राइट ना बिकॉज बहुत टाइम लगाएंगे आप लोग स्ट्रक्चर में ना. वो प्रैक्टिस आप बाद में किया, अब प्रैक्टिस नहीं होना है मेरे क्लास में स्ट्रक्चर्स की. ठीक है, वो प्रैक्टिस अब आपको खुद से करनी है. प्लीज सी हियर, आप लोगों को मैसेज तो मिलता होगा ना, नॉर्मल टीचर के क्लासेस चल रहे हैं मॉर्निंग में. फायजा मिलता था नहीं मिलता था?
Yes, sir.
फिर ना तो वो तो हमने तो किया है ना. अब हम बहुत ज्यादा इतना ज्यादा दिमाग नहीं खराब कर सकते जो नहीं भी कर, उसको पकड़ पकड़ के बैठा के कराएं सारी चीज. एक चीज हम हमेशा बोलेंगे, ट्राई आई मीन स्टार्ट थिंकिंग अबाउट क्वेश्चंस एंड नॉट रिमेम्बरिंग क्वेश्चंस. ओके, काम करना चालू कीजिए. ट्राई टू वर्क ऑन द क्वेश्चंस. बताते जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल क्वेश्चन अरेंज देम इन द ऑर्डर ऑफ एसिडिक स्ट्रेंथ. ठीक है, तो ये आपके एनसीईआरटी के एग्जांपल में ही सवाल है. अगर आप देखेंगे तो आपको मिल जाएगा. इवन though आई एम जस्ट मेकिंग द स्ट्रक्चर्स फ्रॉम द नेम, आई एम नॉट राइटिंग द नेम्स. ठीक है, सो वंस यू हैव गॉट दिस एंड दे आर आस्किंग यू टू अरेंज देम इन द इंक्रीजिंग ऑर्डर और डिक्रीजिंग ऑर्डर ऑफ एसिडिक स्ट्रेंथ. ऐसा नहीं कि आपको एक बार में सारी चीज समझ में आएगी. यू हैव टू टेक वन स्ट्रक्चर एट अ टाइम. ओके, so first of all this is alcohol. Yeah, what we have differentiated, this is alcohol and the rest of them are what? The rest of them are phenols. So phenols are more acidic than alcohol. तो सबसे कम किसका होगा? सबसे कम हो जाएगा किसका? अल्कोहल वाले का. दिस इज अल्कोहल. बाकी सबसे डिफरेंस क्या है? व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस? If you look at the previous questions for boiling point, I wrote 3 to 4 carbon, 5 carbon. So I'm looking at the differences there. Okay, so here the difference between this first structure and the rest of the structure is that it is alcohol, the other ones are phenols. Okay, so this is A structure, B है, C है, D है, E है और F है. ठीक है. Now after this in phenols we are going to look at, we are going substituent. So here we have what? Nitro groups. So nitro is what? It is in ortho and para position. So we'll write nitro, NO2. And how many nitro? There are 3 nitros. And all of them are at ortho and para. So I will write what? Nitro group is what? Minus M. In ortho para into 3. So 3 times minus M. Next I will look at the C structures. Now tell me, here we have NO2. Yes, we have NO2. And how many NO2? We have only one NO2. Where it is present? C structure, ortho, meta, or para. Please tell me guys quickly. Meta, right? So meta. Now in meta, do we see plus M minus M, or do we see only plus I minus I? देख के बताएं फायजा. Keep your mic on, Faiza. In meta position, do we? No. यही गलती है ना.
Sorry, sir. I plus I minus I.
Minus I ना, so it is going to be nitrogen is more electronegative. तो ये क्या हो जाएगा? Minus I. Got it?
Yes, sir.
अब यहाँ पे भी बताएं, यहाँ पे भी आपके पास NO2 है. कितना NO2 है यहाँ पे?
2.
2 NO2. एंड मेटा में है, ऑर्थो में है, पैरा में है, कहाँ पे है?
Meta.
Meta. So it will be minus I only. Minus I into 2 because there are 2 nitro groups. Got it? Yes or no? Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
So this is just phenol. So I will not write anything यहाँ पे. This is just phenol. इसमें कुछ नहीं. ठीक है? What about CH3? Here we have CH3 group. So CH3 is in para position. So in para position, tell me CH3 is going to be plus M or minus M? होता है कुछ plus M या minus M? देखिए CH3. हाँ, plus M or minus M फाइजा?
Plus M.
Plus M. ठीक है. Now you should remember. ये तो आपने सब कुछ अरेंज कर दिया. अब आपको पता होना चाहिए. अच्छा, first of all, A is going to be the least because it is alcohol. Now next what are we going to have? Next किसका होगा? Next होगा plus M वाले. सबसे कम. Then you will have plus M because plus M is what? Unfavorable for acidic strength. You see here electron donating groups, it decreases the acidic strength, right? So उसके बाद कम किसका होगा? F का. एंड आफ्टर दैट जो नॉर्मल है फिनॉल उसका होगा ई स्ट्रक्चर। आफ्टर उससे कम किसका होगा, एक आई वाले का। उससे कम किसका होगा, दो आई वाले का। और उससे कम किसका होगा, ओ माय गॉड, उससे कम नहीं, उससे ज्यादा, सॉरी, उससे ज्यादा किसका होगा, उससे ज्यादा किसका होगा ना, अल्कोहल का सबसे कम, उससे ज्यादा फिनॉल का बट प्लस है, उससे ज्यादा प्योर फिनॉल, उससे ज्यादा माइनस आई, उससे ज्यादा 2 टाइम्स माइनस आई, उससे ज्यादा 3 टाइम्स माइनस आई माइनस एम, जो कि बी स्ट्रक्चर। सो यू अंडरस्टूड फाइजा ना, हाउ टू वर्क थ्रू द प्रॉब्लम? यस फाइजा, टेल मी।
Yes, sir.
ठीक है, तो बिना इसके आपको ऑर्डर नहीं पता चलेगा। इफ यू हैव नॉट डन दिस पार्ट, ये अगर आप नहीं करेंगे तो आपको ऑर्डर पता नहीं चलेगा। नेक्स्ट चला गया क्या इन लोगों का? नेक्स्ट चला गया तो शायद जा रहा शायद। अच्छा बाय द फाइजा, आज वहां पे 9 मुहर्रम है, 10 मुहर्रम है?
Sir, I'm in India. Right?
अच्छा आप कहते हैं।
Yeah.
Okay. कहाँ है आप?
Sir, maybe I
हैदराबाद में?
can. No, sir, Karnataka.